Welcome home, Tim. It's weird that it's been over a year since you left. It both feels like it happened really, really fast and also like you've been gone forever. So, I don't know. I'm glad you're home, buddy. When I first purchased my RZ67, I had this idea that I was going to photograph, and I was kind of calling it the two-roll project. So it's a new camera and I wanted to learn how to use it. I want to practice portraiture because it's what it does really, really well. And so I had this project in mind that I would shoot 2 rolls of film with for a portrait series. And so before I would meet with people, sit down, we'd have like a 15-minute conversation, and I would record it just so I'd have kind of notes. And then during the conversation, I wanted to be able to use, I was taking notes and listening so that I would be able to use that as a guide to then make the photos. And it was something I did 5 or 6 times, and as happens in life, eventually I had to stop. But it was a really good first intro to using this camera for portraiture. But one of the first sessions that I did was with my friend Tim. Now, Tim is a board worker, he's an engineer, he's an Army helicopter pilot, he's also really good at backflips off diving boards, and is just a generally interesting creative person. And so I wanted to do a session with him in his, at that time, what was his new fledgling business space that he was working out of. And it was something that was going to be a really fun way for me, definitely to practice with this project, but also to make photos of a friend in a space. And so we went to his Made Cascade space, which oddly enough, I ended up doing more photo work for them down the road, right after right after Erica went back to work. And so I was bringing a 6-month-old baby with me and putting on big baby earmuffs. And then Tim's business partner, Spencer, the two of them would take turns holding the baby while then the other person was acting in the film we were shooting. And I don't know, it was an interesting little moment. But we were making these photos of Tim in his space. And it was a really interesting time because I got to first start off with having a great conversation of why he wanted this thing, why he wanted to take that next step of his business, of moving from being just a creative person to make things to doing it professionally. And then for me to creatively learn how to make photos in and around there. And we were working in kind of the industrial part of Ballard, which is a classic neighborhood here in Seattle. And it was interesting because I knew coming out of the session that we want to take some photos in the space and some photos outside of it. And part of my 2-roll series was that I was going to always do 1 roll in black and white and 1 roll in color. And I still wasn't entirely certain how the session was going to go. And so I knew that I wanted to do photos inside it, but it was dark and it was moody. So those ones I shot in black and white. And that's what I began with, because I wanted a way to begin making these photos again, to kind of get my feet wet working with Tim, working through these, because with an RZ, 2 rolls only means 20 photos total. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to take forever to shoot the 2 rolls of film, but it also means that, it's an interesting thing with these kind of portrait things, is that I found it takes a while to kind of get going and get into it. So we started the black and white ones because those were more moody, more, not even stylized, but just kind of it fit with the grittiness of those. And then once we finished those, we moved to color to work outside. And that's when I made this photo. And this is my favorite photo from the session. And it's just a simple portrait. The other ones I was trying to layer things and put stuff into interesting corners and framing and reflections and stuff. But in the end, it was just a good, simple portrait with good lighting that is what went through, and is the photo that, when I think of Tim, it's the image I do. It's the photo that's his, when he calls me, it's on there. And so it was just cool to see myself being able to work through this series, to work through this process, to be able to actually make a photo that I really like. Because this was early of my falling back in love with film. I've also ended up rescanning this photo a lot of times. And so you can see here a bunch of the different iterations that I have leading to what is the current one. And it's been cool to see my own progress in that respect as well, beyond the initial image making of being able to then continue to pull out more and to see the details in new ways and reimagine this photo in a way that fits with my new stylizing. And so, yeah, as it comes down to it and I've finished this, I definitely don't have the bandwidth to go back to the 2-roll project and start doing that again, but it does remind me of the importance of photographing your friends and making good photos of them so that you have those moments to document and those moments to those memories to hold on to when people get shuffled off to the other side of the world. Anyway, Tim, I'm glad you're home.